Welcome. State agencies provide financial assistance to various organizations, including schools, local governments, not-for-profits, and other entities. When a state agency provides financial assistance to entities, they are required to monitor the entities receiving the financial assistance to ensure the funds are properly used and accounted for correctly. Today, we will be learning about how state agencies who provide financial assistance to these entities can utilize E-1 reports to meet subrecipient monitoring requirements. Before we get started, if you are a state agency, please make sure that you understand all E-1 filing requirements. E-1 filing requirements are discussed in this training and covered in detail in the guidelines for examination of entities receiving financial assistance from governmental sources and the Indiana Gateway User Guide, both of which may be found at the web addresses on your screen. Also, if you are a state agency, please make sure to communicate to those you provide financial assistance their responsibilities to make these required E-1 filings. These filings are required under the guidelines for examination of entities receiving financial assistance from governmental sources. These filings can help agencies monitor the financial assistance they provide to entities. Before we dive into state agency subrecipient monitoring, we will learn the answers to the following questions to provide some context and background. First, we will learn about the compliance guidelines for examination of entities receiving financial assistance from governmental sources. Then, we will learn about the differences between fee-for-service and financial assistance. Next, we will learn about the reporting requirements for entities receiving financial assistance. Also, we will learn about the audit requirements for entities receiving financial assistance. After we've gone over this important background, we will cover state agency subrecipient monitoring requirements and how state agencies can meet these monitoring requirements. What are the compliance guidelines for examination of entities receiving financial assistance from governmental sources? It is an SBOA publication defining reporting requirements for entities receiving financial assistance. Please go to the URL below to access and read these guidelines. Whether you are a state agency or an entity receiving financial assistance, it is important to be familiar with these guidelines. That way you can make sure your agency and entities receiving financial assistance from your agency are meeting all filing requirements. What is fee-for-service versus financial assistance? The requirements for determining if an entity is receiving a fee for service versus financial assistance are outlined in the Compliance Guidelines pages A1 through A2. Summarized, you are a subrecipient receiving financial assistance if you are an organization that receives a contract for the purpose of carrying out a portion of a governmental unit's grant requirement, statutory responsibility, or plan. You will then be required to complete an entity annual report and file it on the Gateway portal. What are the reporting requirements for entities receiving financial assistance? Complete the Entity Annual Report, E-1, in Indiana Gateway for government units by going to the Indiana Gateway. Click on E-1 Entity Annual Report and then select your entity to complete and submit the E-1 report. What are the audit requirements for entities receiving financial assistance? Requirements and thresholds. IC 511-1-9 requires an organization-wide audit of an entity when the financial assistance disbursed by that organization is equal to or greater than 50% of their total disbursements for the period. The scope of the audit is limited to the use of the financial assistance received when the financial assistance disbursed is less than 50%. How are audit waivers determined? Entities whose financial assistance disbursements are less than 50% of their total, and entities incorporated as not-for-profit corporations whose financial assistance disbursements are equal to or greater than 50%, but less than $750,000, qualify for a tentative waiver of these audit requirements. The desire for a tentative waiver is assumed by the Indiana State Board of Accounts and will be granted based on the statutory thresholds. The state examiner retains the ability to rescind the waiver and conduct an audit if deemed appropriate. What are state agency subrecipient monitoring requirements? Subrecipient monitoring is required under 2 CFR Part 200, also known as the Uniform Administrative Requirements, Cost Principles, and Audit Requirements for Federal Awards, Uniform Guidance. Specific monitoring requirements are detailed in 2 CFR Part 200.332. How can state agencies monitor subrecipients? E-1 reports can help fulfill some subrecipient monitoring requirements. Spreadsheets summarizing E-1 data are available from the Indiana Gateway. These spreadsheets can help you perform subrecipient monitoring and will tell you entity ID, unit ID, year, SBA ID, legal name, E-1 status, federal ID, DBA, fiscal year end, address, audit status, and contact information. Custom reports can be created upon request. Custom reports are a helpful tool for state agencies to best ensure they are meeting their subrecipient monitoring requirements. We appreciate your time learning about E-1 reporting. Below are some resources to help you with E-1 reporting. You can search the SBOA's website for the audit reports of E-1 filers. If you have any questions or would like assistance with anything, please feel free to reach out to us at our State Agency Advisory Services email address.